Right. Next question. Let's see. So, yes, this one gets asked a lot from the program. It asks, how challenging is the program in itself? And I think from my end, I would say it very much depends on which student you ask. So I'm going to ask all of you. um, so maybe you could talk about two parts of the question. How challenging is the overall program, or what percentage of the program is challenging for you, and what do you need to do in order to address the difficulties that you encounter in the curriculum? Yeah? All right. Here we go. Let's start with, again, first year, second year, third year, that way. Yeah? So Kiana and Flavia, go first.
Okay. So what's challenging about the program is, of course, if you're a Dutch student, the English, of course, you're gonna have to get used to that. But overall, I think what you need to consider is time management and expectation management. When I started the program, I wasn't expecting so much theory, and but then once the first semester was over and we started with the second semester, we got more into finance and statistics and research, which, in my opinion, is one are at the moment one of my favorite subjects. But I think it really depends on the person you are and if you're interested in in those subjects. Because, for example, management and organization, that was not my strongest subjects, but that was just because I wasn't that interested in it. But then for business math, that was my strongest subject so far. So yeah, it just really depends on the person you are and how determined and well organized you are.
Okay. I think at this question I would answer is gonna be as challenging as you make it. Um, because it's about, okay, the classes, maybe I don't have any business background. Like in high school I did mathematics and informatics, so my strongest part would be the business math, but I didn't do finance or statistics. So but the knowledge that I have, it's helped me a lot with those. But with the theory, I'm not usually the type of person who stays and read, but it really helps me work at my patience at actually doing it. And the fact that I was curious about what is it, because I didn't have any knowledge, it made me stay and read the book, stay in the lecture, be present there, because the attendance is really important as well, even if they are not mandatory. It's going to be easier for you to learn if you listen to the teacher. And if you want to make it more challenging, because it seems like it's too easy for you, you can go and join study associations like Focus we have, and we go at the practice part of it. We organize so many activities, business trips, and so on. And the course itself is really broad. You have a lot of information in a short period of time, let's say so, but they just divide the parts, so don't get scary about it. Like we had the basics, the very basics, sorry. And then we just went further and further and learn how to actually apply them. So it's really interesting, because if you didn't understand the theory, you apply them, and then everything gets almost fixed in your brain.
Then we go to Kim.
Yeah. Okay. So before I started IB, I already did business studies at Cambridge, just in the Netherlands, but we made a diploma, or we made an exam and we got our diplomas. So that meant I already had some experience with marketing and finance. So to me, those subjects were pretty doable and there wasn't much like of a challenge to it. But then at the same time, subjects such as statistics and yeah, what else? Other subjects I didn't have experience with yet were more challenging. But then at the same time, I like those subjects the most because you really have to open up to learning new things, and that might at first be hard because you'll have to fail in order to be able to understand the subject better. And I think whether or not you'll find this program hard will really depend on a lot of factors, including your discipline, your previous knowledge, also your motivation, and most important, how much you like this profession.
Thank you, Kim. And Nashwa.
So for me, I had done my ALs and my GCSE, so my high school diplomas in business and economics and maths. So for me, I already had a well-built foundation about business, and it wasn't a new subject to me. None of the subjects in the first year, at least, were a surprise to me. However, one thing for sure it did test, and it did become difficult in a sense, was time management and just how you can discipline yourself, because usually in one semester or in one block, which is around 6 to 8 weeks, you are given around 7 to 6 modules at the same time, that they're running at the same time. You have exams that usually happen around the same time. Projects are also due around the same time. So one thing for sure that IB will test is discipline and time management. If you fail to do either or, you will at the end struggle when it comes to deadlines, when it comes to exams, and when it comes to preparation time, because if you don't discipline yourself at the beginning and manage your time at the beginning, it will become difficult at the end, because frankly speaking, the first 2 years at least are very simple and that build a basic knowledge. They are subjects that are difficult in the sense if you aren't if you don't know business that well, or you don't have a well-built foundation about business, it will be a bit hard. However, if you study on time, if you do everything on time and balance, social life, your own life, life inside school and everything well enough, then I think you can for sure, sky is never going to be your limit then with it. So, yeah.
So, Darina, if you can talk to us about, you finished the whole journey, so maybe what was it like being a student so recently?
Well, first of all, I agree with everything that's been said before. My perspective on this, like that. First of all, it starts way before the program, because that's when you develop your why, and why do I want to go study? Why do I want to choose this particular program? And then when you set your goal, and when the going gets tough, that why, that goal motivates you to keep going, to keep studying, just reminds you why you're doing this. The program for sure requires a lot of perseverance and time management, self-management, everything. But what helps a lot is the understanding that you are not alone in it, and you have your classmates, they're going through the same thing, and this community that the program has, and it's a very powerful tool that helps you to go through all these moments. But for sure, what I can say, if you have concerns regarding that the program will have a lot of math, you should not like the numbers, but you should just be comfortable knowing that they exist, they're out there, and that you will have to deal with them sometimes. And if sometimes you feel like that the subject that you're learning, you're not really interested in it, or you're never going to use it, you still have to understand that if you know the basics of something, that will help you a lot once you're working in a real company, or you own your own business, so you know what that person is busy with. So you're not really, incompetent.
Well, thank you very much. I think also as a mentor myself, I can weigh in a little bit on the challenging part of it. I agree with everything that all of you said, and I think the other part of it is also the program never masks how intense it is. It requires a lot from the student, but it is constructed in such a way that all components can be completed on time, in the time allotted to it. You can study everything. You can finish a module in the time allotted. You can complete a test in the time period that the module is provided, and things like that. And the program is also sometimes very clear in also communicating to you that this is part and parcel of becoming the professional that you later will be, and that will be to be able to prioritize. Sometimes time management and discipline aside, you also need to figure out what comes first in life altogether. And the idea that communication gets you a lot further than just assuming one thing is difficult or not. So we encourage our mentees, our students, to always say, look, when something is challenging, you can do two things. You can stay in and be sad about it, or you can tell people that something is challenging, and help is usually available. Either it's your lecturer who will sit with you and help you understand something that you couldn't in the subject, or it could be your mentor who can help you figure out why your time management strategies are not helping you out, or what you can do better. Or it could be a friend or a classmate who can give you a tutoring lesson in the subject. But that is also part of becoming a professional. And that is communicating with whoever is available to your community, and asking for help, and also showing people what you're good at and what you're not very good at, so that you can balance each other out quite well. So those are also some things that you gain because of the way the program is constructed as well.